will be for them, right?
It will be. I'm really looking forward to their reactions.
Cool.
So just really what's new about it?
Well, the big thing that's new about it is the venue that it's in. It's in a totally new space, so it reshapes to the space. It's in this old, dated art museum, which is cool. It's super old. And I have a new cast. And
Old when I used to, that's how old I am. When I was studying here.
oh, really? Did you take classes here? Was this the museum?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Awesome. No museum. I would really define this now as a raw space because there's nothing in here. You know, it's pretty bare and pretty blank. I mean, the spaces where my installation and performance are housed are just big empty spaces that have to be very much converted and adapted to what's in it. So I like that, but it does take a lot of work to sort of rearrange everything.
It's a very interesting space, and this is weird with that TV. That's what I.
Oh, do you want me to switch sides?
No. I like it's weird in a good way.
It's
I'll be
riding a
I'll
bike.
be really quick. I know. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So these are sort of neural pathways that are happening. It was actually Christmas Day, which is the only day that no one will plow, right? Fresh snow. So it was there, and I just got out and rode my bike around and around, and I love the ideas. I think there was
Is
some...
that here, or is that back in Vermont?
No,
You're
that's
from
here.
Vermont?
That
That's
was here on Christmas Day in a parking lot between 5th and 6th South, about between 2nd and 30s. And so there was something I read in a book where they were talking about neural pathways, sort of like, that you make the trail and you kind of break trail and make it over and over, and that's how you kind of really imprint a neural pathway, right, is by doing it over and over again and over and over. And I had that idea of snow and packed snow and hiking in my mind, and so I just started experimenting with making an idea of neural pathways, and I looked out Christmas morning and there was this totally perfect, dusting of snow right an inch or 2 inches, and it was super sunny that day, and I just got out my bike and sort of practiced riding around just for my own exploration of physicalizing that idea of making neural pathways. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should go get my camera and film this. So I just stuck a camera out in the parking lot and I just rode around and around and around, because it's funny to think that this would never happen. Usually someone would come to plow this at 5 a.m., right? After a little dusting, there would be someone hired, but it was Christmas Day, so it was the only day that you'd have this sort of blank canvas that you could ride on, and I was lucky it wasn't any deeper, because otherwise I would have broken my neck riding my little cruiser around there. But it was actually kind of fun idea to sort of think that idea out in a physical way.
It's interesting, all these different metaphors that you use in the show. So you were saying again, what is different about it besides, you're talking about the space, but the show itself?
And the crew, the cast. Things. Yeah, there's new cast and crew. I'm working with a lot of University of Utah students, some who are art students, many in the actor training program here in the theater department, and a few from the neuroscience department. I have two graduate students in the neuroscience program who are more like neuro researchers, and they're performing for the first time.
Was that girl at the entrance over there was explaining? Is that
Victoria? No, she's a performer, but she's not one of the neuroscience people. She actually lives in Durham, North Carolina, and participated in this show as a performer at Duke University last year. And ironically, she is originally from Utah. Her parents live here, even though she lives in Durham. And she has a degree in performance art from North Carolina University, and I wanted to bring her out here. It was great, because then she can see her family too. So I also have some new components added to the installation. I worked with some students here to create a new olfactory bulb, so it's a new ceramic piece right at the entrance, which I'm really happy about. I've been sort of trying to address the olfactory bulb for a while, but never been really happy with it, and I always envisioned it being ceramic, and I had certain ideas, and I wanted to collaborate with people on that piece, and we finally got it executed, and I'm super happy with it. So that's a new element.
And that's out of the senses one that we think of as kind of not as refined or not as intelligent usually.
Well, it's totally different from all your other senses. All of your other senses, so touch, sound, etc., all go through a relay station in the brain called the thalamus. You can think of it as sort of a switchboard. So all of your incoming sensory information first goes to the thalamus, which is like a relay station, and then it gets dispersed to other places in your brain. The only thing that does not go to the thalamus is the olfactory bulb. Your sense of smell goes from your nose directly into other parts of your brain, mostly to memory. So it's actually the most direct route into your brain because it does not go through that relay station. So I think, if I think about it, sometimes when I have I experience a certain smell, it can really trigger a memory or a place in time, or just have this really strong reaction to it because it's extremely direct.
Wow.
And a lot of other animals, of course, use smell in a huge way. We use our vision a lot.
They use it a lot more than us.
Yeah.
Other animals.
Dogs, for example.
And what about so there are two segments of it again. There's the walk-through part,
The installation.
and then the installation, and
the
then
performance.
the performance in the other room. So what's different about the performance part?
Really, the elements, the structure of the piece is the same. The performers are different. The theater space is, definitely different this time. But there's so much of this performance that is unscripted. Virtually the whole thing is unscripted. So it's
Really?
it's very improvised. And so
You have an outline that you follow?
There's
or
an
how does
outline. There's an outline. So there are certain places where people can take liberties, and we certainly adapt it to location.
You and your crew, are they
Right.
free to take liberties?
They are. They know what liberties they can take. I make sure and tell them. But it's important that you don't lose the structure entirely, or then
Right.
the whole thing just
Yeah.
goes to shambles. But within the structure, there's freedom. So
So what do you think the awkward people will relate to? What's awkward about it?
well, everyone feels awkward taking off first of all, being asked to take off their shoes, which I don't find weird, but I usually find that that's awkward. And being in a very, very small audience is maybe awkward. And being encouraged to do things that maybe you aren't usually encouraged to do in a performance setting might be awkward, but I think it's a lot of fun.
The audience participation
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, it's more interactive,
of
but
fun,
not
yeah.
participation like we drag you up on stage and make you a spectacle
No, right,
individually.
yeah,
It's more organic than that.
yeah, right.
So don't be scared. It's very easy. No one's singled out. Unless you really provoke me.
Okay, well, I guess that's anything else that
Come
you
to a show, get a ticket.
Okay, well, we're getting a group. Hopefully,
What was the
we're
group?
getting a group together
I love groups.
to come to the
I'm really
show.
excited, and I love to hear the reactions from like the ASPE audience and the autistic audience. So I'm really interested in that segment of the population. I do a lot of riffs on neurologically typical behavior, and you'll notice my football jersey in the piece says NT. That's because I'm an NT. I'm a boring NT. Other people are so much more interesting.
Oh, you're not boring. You're pretty amazing with
Aw.
the things that you've done intellectually and all of that.
Thank you.
So anyway, we'll look forward to seeing your show.
See you soon.
Okay, thanks.